Hello and welcome to the Milan Talk podcast. I'm your host, Sumit Paul, and we are, of course, this weekend talking about the 1-0 win over Brescia. Giampaolo and Milan off the mark, first 3 points on the board. Calhanoglu's goal in the first half, the difference between the two sides. It was absolutely vital that we got a response from both Giampaolo and the players after such a disappointing start to the season, both in terms of the performance and result at Udinese last weekend. I feel we got that to an extent. I was particularly pleased with how we played in the first half. I think we dropped off and fell into back into some old habits in the second half, and then kind of finished with a flourish and could have ended up being 2-3, 4-0 if we were a little bit more clinical in front of goal. So for me, positives and negatives to take away from the game. I do feel as though the pressure would have been felt by both Giampaolo and the players. I think Giampaolo probably piled a bit more on himself with his post-match comments last weekend. And obviously we were all waiting to see what he did with his system, with his tactics, with his setup, whether or not he would change things or if he would stick to his principles. He ultimately did tweak a few things, and the first talking point, of course, was the starting lineup. With that in mind, obviously the big call, or the biggest call, was dropping Piontek and bringing in Andre Silva. To an extent, I think it worked. You kind of saw what Giampaolo was looking for in terms of Silva's movement off the ball and what he could bring to the game. A lot of you reminded me that it was Brescia, so let's not get ahead of ourselves and think it was such a great performance. But for me, I think it was okay. He did a decent enough job, but obviously long term, I'd rather see Piontek in the starting lineup than Silva. Elsewhere, Ismail Benacer came in for his full debut, and I thought he was brilliant. Relatively simple. He didn't do a huge amount in terms of being too extravagant, but he's very quick with his decision making, with his vision, with his passing. He doesn't need to take 2-3 touches to control the ball and then lay off a pass. Immediately, he's almost got his head on a swivel. He knows where the next pass is going. He's very good at picking out players between the lines and breaking those vertical lines of the opposition. And I thought that was really, really impressive. He did a great job also providing defensive coverage in front of the back line as well. And for me, early days still, obviously his first start for the club, but very, very positive signs from him, and I think he's going to be an absolutely crucial part of the team moving forward. Elsewhere, in terms of individual performances, I thought Donnarumma was decent. Romagnoli was brilliant as usual, quietly goes about his business without making the headlines. I thought he was solid defensively, read the game well, snuffed any danger out. His passing was very, very accurate. I think he had 100% accuracy in the first half. Again, similarly to Benacer, his passing doesn't kind of make you stand up and think, wow, what a pass, but he's so efficient and so sort of pinpoint with everything he does. He makes us tick, and it's obviously a very important part of our build-up play from the back. So Romagnoli, shout out for him, because I thought he was really, really good. Again, Calhanoglu, credit for the goal, but again, working hard, probably lacked a little bit of quality that we needed on the ball, but overall I thought he definitely took a step up and improved from last weekend. Castillejo for me still's not doing it. I think I get why Giampaolo likes him so much. Obviously does a lot of hard work off the ball, and he does flirt in and out of the game. He does do bits, but for me he's not consistent enough, and he's just not good enough in my opinion. I just don't think he's good enough, but Giampaolo seems to be persisting with him, and he looks like he's going to have a key role to play moving forward as well. Suso was another big talking point. A lot was said over the summer. Some were saying that no, he cannot play the trequartista role. He's not suited to that position, and he is ultimately going to fail. Others, including myself, were kind of swayed and turned around a little bit by his pre-season form. The way that he was picking up space between the lines and kind of being creative, scoring a couple of goals. And there were signs there that he could actually do a decent job in that number 10 role. Didn't work out against Udinese. Was really, really poor. And I think you saw against Brescia, he did kind of go back towards that, drifting towards the right side of the pitch. Obviously got the assist for the Calhanoglu goal. And I think that was one important tweak that Giampaolo's obviously made, to play him in a more natural position where he feels he can be more dangerous and a more creative threat. That worked for the goal. And generally speaking, Suso was a lot more involved and influential in the game as a whole compared to last time out. So positive signs from that. And hopefully he can continue to build on that now and continue to be an important part of the team. So as I said, a lot of positives I feel is in terms of individual performances, in terms of making that step up and improving from that Udinese loss. Again, I'm not saying for 1 second that it was an incredible performance and all our problems are solved and we're on the way back up to the top four. There's a lot of things still to work on. I think we do need to improve. As I said, I feel like we dropped off in the second half, fell into some bad habits, old habits that we've had for a long, long time, where we almost start to play at a walking pace. That invites the opposition to have a little bit more freedom and kind of confidence to kind of take the game to us. I feel as though if we can stamp that out and play like we did in the first 45 minutes and maybe the last 10 minutes, then we're on to a good thing and we're moving in the right direction. Also worth noting that I think Brescia played into our hands a little bit to come to San Siro and play so openly and look to kind of take the game to us, played into our hands, and it made it a little bit easier for us to kind of play our game and find breakthroughs in their defence. If they had set up similarly to Udinese and focused on us defensive shape, frustrated us, hit us on the counter-attack, that would probably have been the more sensible strategy to play us. But they gave us that opportunity, and even though it was only a 1-0 win, we took that opportunity and secured all 3 points. So happy with the 3 points. That is the crucial thing. Like I said, pressure was on after the Udinese defeat, and to get a response, to get the 3 points without pulling up trees and being incredibly impressive, I'm happy with that. Go into the international break with 3 points in the bag, with a morale boost, confidence up slightly, and then heading back into the games after the international break with that to build on. So for me, important win, and hopefully things can only get better from this point onwards. Okay, so moving on to your comments after the game. Richard S, not good. Where is this beautiful attacking football we've been promised? Same old Milan, new manager, same something football. Richard, I see where you're coming from. For me, it's a balancing act. I'm probably ultra positive, and I think a lot of the comments that I've seen after the game are quite negative. We're all entitled to our opinion, so there's nothing wrong with being positive or negative, but it's the way we interpret the game. For me, like I said, I see where you're coming from, but I don't quite get how people are expecting Giampaolo's influence to just be clicked into place, magically everything sorted, and within 2 games we're going to be this world-beating team that plays incredible football. Like I've mentioned before, and some of you have said, fair enough again, that it's not an excuse, but he hasn't had a full summer to prepare these players for the way that he wants to play, for the system he wants to play, and the style of play that he wants to implement. It will come in time. I do believe that in 3, 4, 5 weeks' time, we are going to see a massive improvement in the way that we're playing football. I think the positive signs are there, but they're inconsistent and they're still not good enough. But I think with time, we're going to see more of the style of play come through. It's a different ball game as well when you think of the level that he's come from. He's gone from Sampdoria and Empoli to taking the Milan job. Now, he knows what he's getting in for. I'm not saying that it's a massive surprise for him and he's not prepared, but it's a massive step up, and when you're in that position and you're perhaps seeing the response to the game in the first game of the season, and who knows what Maldini and Boban have said to him and the hierarchy, but there's obviously a balancing act and a pressure that comes with it where he needs results as well as getting the style of play across. So for me, we saw it with Gattuso a few times last season where we saw signs that he was going to start this new exciting sort of attacking style of play, but we reverted to type quite a lot. And I think that is the balancing act. When you're under pressure to get a result, you're not really going to see that as much as you'd like. So again, hopefully it improves in the coming weeks. I do believe it will, but at the moment, we're not seeing the football that we would have hoped for this summer when Giampaolo got the job and he got all the big build-up and everything with that. So hopefully things improve with that in the coming weeks. Bradley Watson at Spidey0816 looked good most of the first half. Good goal. Benacer link-up and quick cutting passes made a big difference, starting to get stale in the second, then brought in the big guns to slid back to the Christmas tree formation that we got away from in the first half. Honestly, looked great at the end. We will get there. Again, that's what I mean. So Bradley's more of the sort of positive side of things like myself. I do feel as though we look good in the first half, and the final stages we look good again. Agree with you, Benacer. Standout performance for me, even though, again, he didn't do anything majorly extravagant, but his performance was top class, so good to see that and hopefully see more from him. And yeah, you're right. I think changes will need to be made. The quicker we see Piontek, Bonaventura, Paqueta, maybe if you can, I don't know how you can, but Calhanoglu and Suso all in the same team. Hernandez at left back, Leo Duarte or Caldara next to Romagnoli, Conti maybe even getting the nod at right back. I think, you see all those players come into the equation, and I feel as though we're only going to get better and better. We'll come to Giampaolo's post-match comments in a minute, but those were a little bit worrying in terms of what he said about Paqueta. But I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, and of course, Rafael Leao, who I haven't mentioned, if he gets a chance to impress as well. There are other players that I feel as though we can definitely improve with them in the side, and hopefully Giampaolo makes those changes sooner rather than later. At Samir Mohammed 72, better than last week, 100% agreed. Romagnoli and Musacchio great again. Need Hakan, Benacer and Kessie, Paqueta, Suso starting next match. 100% agree with that as well. Spot on with those selections. Don't want random high passes and hoping someone gets the ball. Disaster post-match comment. He needs to be less Brazilian. What's wrong with that? Samir, completely agree. As I mentioned, we'll get to Giampaolo's comments very, very soon. But agreed with your selection choices. And yeah, the style of play with the sort of high passes over the top for Piontek or Silva to chase onto is not what we want to see. Less of that, the better. And yeah, not particularly impressed with what he said about Paqueta, but I don't know whether it was a misinterpretation or that is genuinely what he wants to see, but you don't really want to take that away from Paqueta's game. At TRQ_super rookie, the second half was very bad until the last couple of minutes. Kessie, Barini and Samu were bad. They almost had no good touches, no good positioning and no good decision making. I think Piontek and Paqueta should start. Leao and Conti should be given a chance. Suso and Benacer were great. Romagnoli was great as usual. Whenever Jack is ready, he should start. I think the performance improved, but is far from good, and Giampaolo should be better at his selection for games. Literally cannot disagree with a single point you've made there, I don't think. Barini and Castelletto. Barini did okay, I guess. You're not going to get anything more from Barini than what he did. He came on, ran about a bit, did his job, and didn't really do... He probably could have scored that chance that he fluffed, but apart from that, you get what you know you're going to get from Barini, and there's no real point looking for more from him anymore. But yeah, Castelletto for me still poor, and definitely Piontek and Paqueta to start next game, potentially with Leao and Conti as well. That would be a good shout. And yeah, hopefully we'll see Jack come back into the equation as well as soon as he's ready, as I think he will definitely make a massive, massive difference for us. Alexandra Piontek on Twitter. Benacer was so good on the ball, even under pressure. Castelletto was the worst player on the pitch. I prefer playing Barini over him. Again, difficult to disagree with that. Benacer really impressive, and Castelletto for me was the worst player on the pitch as well. Marvin Diaz. Yeah, Hakan got a goal, but I credit Suso more for the great vision. I feel as if Paqueta should have started over him. Then we would have scored a lot more, and just see the difference when he came in. We had lots of chances, and Suso is definitely man of the match. Hope Bonaventura gets minutes next game. So general consensus, kind of reoccurring theme there. Jack, definitely, hopefully see him sooner rather than later. Good from Suso, and probably need a bit more from Hakan as well. So yeah, can't disagree with that. At AC Milan, 180799. Not the best performance, but good enough to get the win. Fair play. Piontek just needs that extra bit of luck to get off the mark. Once he gets his first goal, many will follow. Paqueta should start. Kessie needs to do more than just run the kilometres. His passes and decision making is very poor. Andre Silva did well. He just needs confidence and the coach to believe in him. I would try to utilise him instead of selling him. He might turn out better than before. Overall, happy to get the win, and now we can prepare the next game with Verona with a little less pressure. Again, absolutely spot on, and that's why I love hearing from you guys in the comments on Twitter, so do keep them coming after games. Piontek's so unlucky in the last 10 minutes not to get the goal. There was that one chance he had where it kind of span, almost went over the line, and it kind of just span backwards and the goalkeeper grasped it. Those moments, he just needs that, like you said, that tiny bit of luck to go his way, even if it's just like a ricochet off him, goes in the back of the net, freak goal, just to give him that boost, just end that wait for the first goal, get over that hurdle. And then I do feel promising signs that the fact that he was in the right positions and he's getting chances. Against Udinese, there were real concerns because he wasn't even getting those chances, but you saw in the last 10 minutes against Brescia that he was getting the right positions, he was getting the service that he needed, and he was just unfortunate not to get the goals that kind of he's desperate for. So fingers crossed, if he keeps doing that, then we're not going to wait very long before he gets off the mark. Agree with you, Paqueta should start 100%, and Kessie, it's the same story with Kessie. We've been saying this for the last 2 years. I would have hoped that Giampaolo would have maybe added some sort of composure or just some additional quality to his game in the final third, because everything else is still absolutely crucial to us. We still need his energy, his tenacity, and everything else that he brings to the game. But it's just that poor decision making and that lack of composure in front of goal, like that chance that he smashed over the bar with his left foot. That's got to be a goal. He's in such a good position. He's done everything right to get into that position, and he just keeps letting himself down at the last. So if he can fix that point of his game, then he can still take his game to a completely different level for me. And hopefully we do get to see that this season. Agree with you on Andre Silva as well. I know a lot of people, again, like I said, were saying that it's only Brescia, don't get carried away, but you've got to play the opposition that you've got in front of you, and I think he did a decent enough job for what he was asked to do. Agreed with you, I still think there's more to come from him if he gets the chance, and perhaps even as a second striker instead of Castillejo. I feel as though he's got the vision, the passing, and the kind of ability to drop back into deep positions to do that job. And so perhaps he should get an opportunity in that role as well. But much depends on the transfer market. I think if we can get someone better, then let's go for it. It's all well and it's easy to say, yeah, let's just get rid of Silva and bring someone else in. But you've got to find the right deal, the right team that's interested in him with the right proposal. So a lot of things have to fall into place before the deadline. And we'll have to wait and see whether or not that happens. But yeah, I think Silva still potentially has a role to play for us. And then finally, Marcus Anderson. Strange lineup from the start. Kessie needs glasses. Good substitutions. Benacer looks comfortable. I miss Kaka and Sheva, and Donnarumma was good. Again, same kind of points. Kessie, agree with your point there and what other guys have said as well. But Benacer, 100%. I think he was one of the standout players, and he looks like he's going to be a real player for us in that key position. So good to see that from him on his full debut, and hopefully better things to come from him as well. Positive things in terms of the player reaction. I'm not going to read them all, but a lot of them took to Instagram after the game and stressing the importance of the win, and especially it being the first game at home. I thought Benacer said some nice things. Proud to have the honour of my first start with the club. Donnarumma, with the right attitude, the results also arrived. Thank you to the fans for always being with us. And like I said, people can be critical. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And 100% agree that we do need to improve, and we're still nowhere near the finished article on the Giampaolo, but we're a work in progress, and I know that's not what people want to hear or see when we're desperately trying to break into the top four this season, but I do feel as though we will get there, and getting that first win, those first 3 points on the board was absolutely crucial this weekend, especially in light of what happened last time out against Udinese. So overall, I'll take the 3 points. I'm happy with the win. And let's just continue to build on that now and see if we can move forward and make more progress. That wraps up today's pod. Again, like I said, delighted to get 3 points on the board before the international break. The last thing any of us wanted would be to go into the 2-week break or whatever it is with the Udinese defeat and then dropping more points against Brescia. So good to bounce back, good to get the win. And hopefully the boys will come back after the international break and build on that. Follow Milan Talk 1 on Twitter and Facebook. Subscribe and like, and please tell everyone about this video and all the YouTube stuff. But until next time, which will probably be the reaction post to the game against Verona, like I said, it's a good win, 3 points on the board, and Forza Milan.